Hi, one of the impetus behind the clip you're about to see is Oprah's national search for the next talk show star. If you like what you're about to see, please take 2 seconds to vote for me online. You can find the link by either Googling the words Maliha and Oprah or visiting my Facebook page, Vote Maliha for Positive Change. Thank you.
So Amy, would you share with us a pivotal moment in your life?
I was working at a nonprofit and I saw a calendar with a picture on it that made me think that there might be something missing in my day-to-day work. And I'd always enjoyed creative things, but I realized that working in operations, although I really believed in the ideal of the nonprofit, the day-to-day work was not satisfying me. So when I saw this picture on a calendar, on a file cabinet, I started feeling that I needed to pursue more visual work. And so I began taking classes here and there and began taking the steps towards getting into grad school in photojournalism.
Oh, how interesting. And how was your experience in photojournalism? And we all know that you recently, a year ago, launched your own business in regards to, being a videographer. How do those two relate? Can you help us fill in the gaps?
Yeah, I mean, I really found the ideal that I was looking for in photojournalism combined with my natural skill or talent or the thing that I had been missing in my work before. So it was this perfect combination for me to pursue photojournalism, and I really had the intention to become a still photographer for a newspaper. But when I went in there, I knew that things were changing, technology was changing, and that I really needed to learn multimedia skills. So
when you say when you went in there, are you talking about graduate school?
Yes.
Got it.
And when I went to grad school, the program was really great. It was really based on a documentary approach, very lots of tradition. So I think a lot of the students that came in, they really had this mindset, I'm going to be a newspaper photographer, or I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to do for magazines, whatever. And I don't think every student was really open to the idea that as a visual storyteller, you can tell those stories in different mediums and still tell the same stories. So for me, I really embraced the idea of using multimedia to tell the stories visually and not just still photographs.
That's really interesting that you're talking about, you're at this journalism school, and in a way there are different mediums to cover stories, traditional print, online, my gosh, online now is huge in terms of online newspapers. We see what's going on with the newspaper industry right now. We see, reporting by blogs. Heck, I'm just busting out a camera and using Facebook. So what are your thoughts on, can you help us understand if this is such a big change, a trend, why do you think that maybe these people were a little bit more reluctant to embrace this new medium?
I think
and in your case, it being, videography.
Yeah, because in my opinion, I'm always trying to be open to change. I'm always open to new ideas, and I think it's easy to lock in an identity with something you identify with. And I think a lot of students, especially in photojournalism, it's probably the same in many industries, you identify with a certain something. You see somebody in a career, you want to be like that. I think a lot of people have a certain stereotype of what it is to be a photojournalist, and they wanted that. And so when it came time to say, cue it like that, right? Okay, we'll pretend like that. You'll clip that, right?
So when they pretend, so why is it, that's really interesting that it's really interesting, Amy, that you kind of embrace this new medium of storytelling, while it seems as though some of your colleagues in graduate school were a little bit more resistant. Can you elaborate on why you think that may be so, especially given the context that it seems as though the industry is really now exploring these new mediums, whether it be video, whether it be online, blogging, or in my situation, doing videos and putting them on Facebook. Can you kind of maybe touch upon maybe this resistance, whether it's from a personal story or from a macro trend?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of purists out there, whether they're in media, working at newspapers or wherever, or whether they're students. I mean, and I think a lot of people get attached to a certain medium because that's what they've learned on, that's how they've learned to tell visual stories. And there are definitely some differences between the different mediums and how it's done. So I don't think there's anything wrong with choosing one medium or another, but the idea of approaching your learning, especially as a student, in a time when things are changing, I think and you want to be as marketable as possible, I just think it makes a lot of sense to learn as much as you can about the bigger picture as a student. It's like everybody says, you learn as much as you can in general, and then when you actually find your first job, that's when you really start learning the real skills. So, I mean, the things that we learn as photojournalists in multimedia right now, they're not new skills. Filmmaking has been around forever. So, but it's applying them as a journalistic approach, I think, especially with video, has been a challenge. But there's so many things we can learn from what's already out there.
Got it. And so, Amy, you went to school to become a photojournalist. You're just like all the other classmates. You were determined to do that. So, fill in the gaps. Now you own your own business for videography. How did you get there?
Well, when I was finishing my grad project, actually, like we said, I went in with still photography in mind, but while I was there, I really learned a lot of video skills, many on my own. And so I did my entire grad project using video, and that was the direction I was taking. And I thought it would be really marketable to newspapers to do video for online newspapers, and it didn't actually work out that way, even though I had lots of contacts. The school had many professional networking opportunities, and when I didn't get a job at a newspaper, I just kind of said, well, and a friend of mine from grad school lived out here in Philadelphia, and we had kind of joked in the past while we were in school about starting our own business, and I decided to move out here and see what we could make of it. I feel like right now the approach that I'm taking, I'm doing promotional videos for small businesses and nonprofits, but because of the clients that I'm focusing on, I'm really doing similar work to what I could have been doing at a newspaper. And I'm still building community and reaching out to the community and pursuing clients that I feel I can connect to and learn from, which is essentially what I loved about journalism, was getting out and meeting new people and learning new things. So I feel really satisfied with that so far, and I feel like the approach is very documentary style or journalistic in the sense that I'm still looking for natural moments, candid moments that the business owner or nonprofit is taking, and I feel like the approach is all very similar. So for now, it's great. I think it's a good choice.